If today's anger is directed at this crisis involving just one ship, it's mixed with fear for an uncertain future when the waters may be choked with oil tankers.
Oh, there was a full-scale freakout in the province of British Columbia this weekend. Don't take it from me. Look at the front page of the Vancouver Sun. Tainted by oil. I think you actually have to read it that way. Seriously, the last time they used letters that big on the front page was when war was declared. But look at the picture. They're tainted by oil. The duck doesn't appear to have any oil on it that I can see. There is no oil on that rock, and there is no oil in the water. So what do they mean? Well, let's check with our friends at the CBC. Here's their story on it. As you can see, it was written by no fewer than 5 CBC journalists. That's how big this oil tainting was. And they have a gross picture of, it looks like, oil there too. But if you look very, very carefully, under the caption of that photo, you'll see that that wasn't the oil spilled. They, like the Vancouver Sun, couldn't actually find any oil that was spilled, so they showed other oil just to help dramatize the story. So what's really going on here? Was there an Exxon Valdez style oil spill off the coast of Vancouver, as David Suzuki and so many other environmental extremists have warned us about? Well, actually no. What there was a grain freighter, a Korean vessel taking grain to Asia, one of the things we sell, and some of the boat's own bunker fuel leaked. Now, according to reports, 2,700 liters leaked. It sounds a lot that way, but that's really 17 barrels, and luckily refined oil of that sort evaporates fairly quickly. It spreads out very thin in the sheen so you can see it, but it evaporates quickly. And anyways, the Coast Guard responded very quickly, as did cleanup crews. They put booms around the vessel. They skimmed it up. And in fact, short hours after this reported, the Coast Guard put out this press release saying they got all the bunker fuel cleaned up except for 6 liters. Not 6,000 or 6 million, 6 liters, like just a little bit more than a big milk jug. And then their next update, the Coast Guard said they got all the bunker fuel cleaned up except for 0.3 liters. That's 300 milliliters. That is smaller than a can of Coke. That's how effective they were at skimming and picking up this leaked bunker fuel. So what about this crazy headline in the Vancouver Sun and the crazy story in the CBC? Well, that's the thing. This opportunity presented itself for all the environmental extremists in BC, including those in the media, to live out their nightmare scenario about evil oil. I mean, check this out. This is CTV interviewing Mayor Gregor Robertson, an extremist anti-oil, anti-industry activist who used to be on the boards of the Tides Foundation, an anti-oil lobby group. Gregor Robertson is bad enough, but look at what CTV did. I say again, this was a small leak of bunker fuel from a grain freighter. It was all cleaned up except for literally a pop can size worth of fuel that's probably evaporated long ago. But CTV put behind, in what we call B-roll in the business, the background video, CTV used pictures of oil pipelines from Alberta, of the oil sands, of things that had nothing to do with a Korean ship leaking a little bit of bunker fuel. Why would they show images of the oil sands that had nothing to do with the leak? Well, it's the same reason why the CBC put in a fake picture that was not from this bunker fuel, just to give the scare effect. My point is, in Vancouver, there is no longer a demarcation where environmental extremists end and where the media starts. I think we have a problem in Canada with foreign-funded environmental extremists. As you know, David Suzuki Foundation itself collects more than $1 million in foreign funds to attack our country. Over the past decades, more than $100 million has been funneled into Canada to attack us from groups like the Rockefeller Brothers Fund and the Tides Foundation. That's bad enough, and I think we need to do something to bring transparency to all this foreign funding. But what's the excuse for CBC and CTV and the Vancouver Sun? They're not owned by foreign lobby groups. Why have they allowed themselves to be co-opted by such an extremist message? And why can they not acknowledge that their false alarm was just that? Why, instead of acknowledging that there was only 300 milliliters, a pop can size full of fuel from a grain ship, why did they go through this whole I'm not going to call it a stunt, but the gimmick of showing people looking under boulders for oil that does not exist. I think we have a problem in Canada. The media, the mainstream media, you just can't trust them. For TheRebel.media, I'm Ezra Levant.